856-576-4977. This is the Morning Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a thirsty Thursday in the no man's land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside Joe Hunk and the bandy man Bailey Lowery, taking your calls all day long. And oh boy, we got a lot of news stories to get into, whether it is college recruiting, of course, the college playoff bracket. On top of that, a little bit of NBA news to throw at you. On top of all of that, we also have Thursday night football tonight with Washington facing off against the Philadelphia Eagles, which should be a good one because we're getting to see Jaden Daniels face off against that tough Philadelphia defense, and also Jalen Hurts facing off against a pretty easy but getting a little bit better Washington Commanders defense as well. So there's a lot of intrigue in today's show, and going into tonight. I know. I wish we had a late night program.
We're running it back twice.
I was about to say, God, guys, I mean, I can't do that.
I mean, I'm trying to push for that late night show. I will say that. I am. I want a 9 o'clock to like 10 o'clock show. You know?
What in heaven's name?
It's for the truckers. You know, this one's for the kids. I want one for the truckers, guys.
How could this be for the kids? They're in school. Well, remember, we were there last week.
Exactly.
They're in school.
This is for the ones that skip class.
That's right. These are for the ones that right now not going to be graduating.
Hey, could you say that you did that? You skipped class one day back in school and then you listened to sports radio?
No.
I can't say
that. I didn't even know sports radio existed until I was a junior in college. So, yeah.
Well, no, this is what the kids do now. Okay, they have all these Chromebooks. They just hop onto our site, 977ESPN.com. And then they go over to the Listen Now page and they listen to our show. On top of that, they also probably have our app and also maybe our Fox News app, which is, of course, Talk Radio WZZN or 97.7-2 on your HD radio. But make sure you guys do have the apps, just because you could go all the way up to Alaska. You could go to Japan on a wonderful trip over there, and you can still listen to our program.
Is it bad that I know why he just mentioned Japan?
Why?
Because of our conversation last night.
Which one was it? I forgot.
All right. So the reason he brings up Japan is because in our group chat, we were discussing the fact that I am trying to acquire a Japanese PSN right now.
It sounds illegal.
It does sound illegal. It's not illegal, okay? But all three of us are huge gamers, and obviously, you know, we talk about all the games that we're good at. Well, mine is MLB The Show. Like, I dominate that game.
He really thinks he's good at that.
I'm very, very good at that
you
game.
have to bring Slugfest over to the house.
Oh,
so we can all
I'm talking about real baseball, man.
Real baseball.
Yeah.
That is real baseball.
I mean, just saying. So I say that because there is a video game that has been in production for, I want to say, no less than 5 years.
Yeah.
It is no less for 5 years, and it is for the Japanese Baseball League. So I found out last night that this game had dropped in the middle of October, and you can buy the disc. You can go to Amazon and you can, just, hey, I want to pay my $70 and I want this disc, and they send it to you and you pop it in, download it, boom, you're good to go. But I'm a guy that gets all digital games. Like, I don't like carrying around discs or anything like that. Like, I like the fact that my PlayStation has all my games on it. So if I want to bring it up here and pop it on the television, have all my options.
Yeah.
The problem is, this video game is only available in Japan. So the only way to purchase it through and get a digital copy is by having a Japanese PSN and logging into that. So now I've spent the last 24 hours trying to figure out how to download a digital PSN, because when you look at how amazing this baseball game looks, it is everything we wish MLB The Show would be. It looks real.
Yeah.
Like, it is all real, but it is all Japanese baseball players. It's the Japanese Baseball League. And so now I'm going, I've got to have this game. I've been paying attention to it for no less than 5 years. And now it is out, and I have got to have this game. And it is going to be so much fun because it's all the Japanese baseball stadiums and all this. And I'm just going, I need this. But I can't get it unless I have the Japanese PSN. So we're talking about that in the group chat, and that's the reason he brings up the Japanese and the fact that you can listen in Japan right now.
What is it? Can I take this opportunity to bring up a cover 5 question, or like add on a cover 5, cover 6 question from yesterday?
Go for
it.
Okay. Has there been a game or even a movie or something that you've just been really looking forward to, again, like you said, you've been tracking this thing for 5 years.
I did. I've been tracking it that long.
But has there been something that you've been really looking forward to? You've been tracking its development, like tracking its progress until it finally comes out, and you're like, this was worth it.
Really?
Like this was absolutely worth the wait. Like all the hype I had going into this, like it was absolutely worth it.
So real quick, I thought you were going to go the opposite way with it, and I honestly I could have.
I was thinking about it.
I could have answered the same question honestly with that, but Joe, I'll let you go first since you had your hand raised.
No, I did. I raised my hand like I'm in class. So I will tell you because it just happened a few years ago, and it was Ghostbusters Afterlife or whatever the third film was.
Yeah.
My dad and I went and saw it. He was the one that took me to the originals when they first came out. Now, the first one I watched at home because it came out when I was born. But the second one, Ghostbusters 2, they took me to theater. My dad and I go and see Ghostbusters 3, not counting the girl one. And I literally sat there and I'd been so consumed with this movie. I was so pumped about it. It lived up to every single expectation that whenever Harold Ramis shows up at the very end and hugs his daughter, I cried.
Yeah. Okay.
I did. I cried.
I
mean, I was so involved in that.
By the way,
that's the most recent one I can think of.
Before I answer mine, I will say this. You know how I was talking about my PlayStation Vita, a little portable PlayStation device? You can actually get the Japanese game on it. And since I jailbroke my PS Vita, I'm looking at it right now. The newest one I could get is 2019. And you better believe, Joe, that I'm going to come into the studio tomorrow with this game downloaded just so I can show it off to you and just be like, hey, look at me. I'm playing Japanese baseball. I'm not kidding.
Pro Baseball Spirits. It's Pro Baseball Spirits 2024, 2025. It is gorgeous.
It's the same game.
It is stunning at how beautiful this game is.
Well, you know what else is stunning? Those beautiful NBA courts that they're starting to roll in.
That's one person's opinion.
I'll say
it's one person's opinion.
Maybe not beautiful.
Some of them are,
but I will say it kind of looks like what a teenager would probably decorate their room to be, having all these neon lights, whether they're green, whether they're yellow, whether they're purple. I mean, there are just so many different ones. And I want to ask this question to the NBA fans out there, and Bandy's one of those guys.
Basically, you're asking Bandy this question, aren't you?
Some of the listeners,
okay, just double checking.
Right? Just want to make sure we're hitting all of the different fan bases.
I mean, making sure, because there probably is going to be a lot more conversation about Tennessee and Georgia today than what there has been all week. So absolutely.
It's definitely the game of the week that we're going to be looking forward to this weekend. But at the same time, we do get this whole NBA Cup for a few weeks going into, of course, late December, pretty much taking us into next year. And it's the second year that the NBA is doing this whole thing. And a lot of people, they think it's kind of a gimmicky event that happens mid-season. And to me, I get that vibe. You get all these different courts. You're bringing some extra fans in. I mean, if you're going to come to an NBA game, you at least want to come to an NBA game that's a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more interesting. So when you have these gray courts, these purple courts, the Charlotte Hornets, they have this beautiful blue and purple court that honestly is probably the best out of all of them. But at the same time, where really is the legitimacy of this NBA Cup? Does it kind of hold a little bit more reins than, I would say, a playoff appearance? Bandy, I'm looking at you.
No.
Would you rather your Jazz, I'm just saying, would you rather your Jazz make it to the playoffs, just the first round, maybe a wild card, and then lose? Or would you rather your Jazz win the NBA Cup at the beginning of the season?
Make the playoffs.
You'd rather make the playoffs.
I'd rather them make the playoffs because this is, I mean, it's like you said, they're glorified regular season games.
But you get a banner.
And they don't count, right? Like they don't count towards your record, do they? If the Cavs lose, they're still undefeated, right?
Right.
What?
See?
This is a whole this is literally the soccer.
This is just like soccer because
it's fun to watch, but like with redesigns of a court, different jerseys, like some throwbacks going to be brought out, but other than that, it's just a glorified regular season games.
No, I don't like that.
So I'd much rather they stink it up in the regular season tournament or the NBA Cup. They stink it up then, and get their bearings back by the second half of the season, and then they make the first round of the playoffs, or they get through the play-in tournament. Okay. I'm cool with that. not really winning this because the Lakers made a big deal about it one year and then they ended up losing in the playoffs. Go figure.
True. That is very much true. They do have a banner from this NBA tournament.
There is an actual banner that is hanging up
Yes.
in what used to be known as the Staples Center. And they hoisted that sucker up and had a ceremony and everything.
Next to all of their other amazing banners that actually hold a little bit of merit. So that's the funniest part about it.
They hung up the banner and got made fun of for it.
Yes. Now, look, if they really wanted to make this tournament mean something, whoever wins it automatically gets a playoff spot.
Now that
and then your ranking and then your win-loss record determines.
You'd have to have it a little bit later on, though, in the season. You can't have it like 13, 14 games in. That would be
wild.
Because you could have that surprise team. Maybe, Wemby gets on a little bit of a hot streak and this Spurs team pushes pretty far and then wins it. But then you look at their team regardless, and they're still not that good, losing to, of course, the Jazz earlier on.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a little bit later in the season.
You make it where they don't have to, they are guaranteed a bye-through, and they don't have to play in the play-in tournament. Give me that. Give me something so, like, even if I have the worst record in the NBA, I get into the playoffs, and I'm also guaranteed to not play in the play-in tournament.
I think you get into the play-in tournament, but you don't automatically get a spot in the actual playoff.
Yeah,
make it meaningful.
Yeah, like if you're not going to get a playoff spot anyway, like you can just get an automatic bid into the play-in.
The play-in, then you have a chance.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? You could still surprise then if you want to, come up late. Speaking of Wemby and the Spurs, last night he had a historical game. Of course, the young guy out of France.
This is way more NBA conversation than I expected.
Look,
today.
I'm getting it out of the way
really
early.
I know Bam and Mercer are playing. Like, I get it.
Auburn, UL Monroe.
No, that is only a conversation because we're waiting for Hugh Freeze to continue being a moron. even though Jay Ferg yesterday on Tom's show says, look, I'm kind of expecting somebody else to be starting at quarterback other than Peyton Thorne.
I think we all are.
I mean, that's the only reason you pay attention to this.
Yeah.
The only reason.
I think Peyton Thorne,
I will not turn on 1 second of Bama Mercer.
No,
I'll
watch it.
No,
there's some cleanup to be had, but outside of that, I mean, I'm watching it just.
Dude, I can tell you,
Alabama.
If I don't see that Alabama Mercer score be 21-0 by the end of the first, then I'm not watching.
No, because again, and the reason I say that
this isn't a bad Mercer team, guys.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay, the only time the only way I'm paying attention is if Mercer has this as a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, then I will turn it on, and then I'll have to go back and rewatch it and figure out what the heck Alabama did and screwed up. But no. I understand Mercer's 9-1. They're an FCS grade. Oh, yeah, cool. All right, now. But I am not paying attention to this. There is no reason that you should be. And again, I go back and look. Auburn threw up 70 on Alabama A&M. Okay, 70.
This is not Alabama A&M.
That's all I'm saying. First off, this game should not be taking place in November.
This is just the way Alabama schedules things. All
well,
right?
they have to because they got told that they can't schedule this game before the Iron Bowl, so they scheduled it 2 games before the Iron Bowl.
That's how they usually.
Or a game and a half before the Iron Bowl, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it's that. Great.
Oklahoma's that half.
I'm sorry. We can't have this game the week before the Iron Bowl. Okay, fine. We'll move this game up and we'll have it right after the LSU game. That's no problem, but we're getting our PSU game in.
Yeah.
Just
got to do it. I mean, Ohio State.
And by PSU, I mean Piece of University.
I think everybody kind of.
Not PSU as in Penn State University. I wanted to make sure everybody understood. Or Josh Payson, where it's like, what? No. PSU,
not Pate State.
No, Pate State.
Either way, real quick, I wanted to just get out the NBA news and then move on from it, Joe. All right,
you're paying way more attention to this than anybody else in the country.
Entire thing.
Okay, but I'll say this though real quick about Wemby. Greatest case for human evolution I've ever seen in my life.
He skips and he dunks the ball.
He is an alien.
I mean, the next step is literally having mutant powers.
It is true.
That's what he's saying.
Because we have
straight out of Space Jam.
I want to tell all the listeners out there, just watch a Spurs game.
No.
Just this season.
No.
Just watch a Spurs game because you will see this man do what has never been done in basketball before because we have never seen someone who is 7'3", bring the ball up like a point guard, and just drill it like Steph Curry would from like 3 feet beyond the arc and drain it.
How many 3-pointers did he have last night? It was like 9 or 10.
Around there.
I mean, he was getting up there, and that's what got him to that 50-point mark. He also had 6 rebounds and 2 assists because Chris Paul was the guy that was assisting him this entire time. So that's what he's getting paid for in San Antonio.
Yeah,
so
it's like, man, I'm just back in LA. I'm just throwing lobs again.
Either way, we do have a lot more football talk to get into. On top of that, we're going to be hopping into a little bit of some transfer news. I brought up this whole Boston College story yesterday. We talked about it for a second, but now it's gotten a little bit more tasty. And I think Bill O'Brien is a little bit shocked that his stud quarterback is deciding to get on out of the Boston College area. But on top of that, we will be talking Tennessee, Georgia, as well as Ravens Steelers, because this game has gotten a little bit more tasty as well, with Mike Tomlin throwing down a few more comments. The phone lines are open to you, 256-5764
97.7
here on the Morning Blitz.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977espn.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. With the exception of the morning, it does look like we are going to be dry today. Temperatures, though, going to be on the lower end of the spectrum. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-60s. We drop into the mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine Friday afternoon. Going to be cool once again, but cool is still seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the mid-60s, dropping into the low and mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Some big news coming out of the recruiting scene is Caleb Cunningham, 5-star wide receiver that committed to Alabama earlier this past offseason, has flipped to an Ole Miss Rebels, of course, with Lane Kiffin. And that is actually changing up a little bit when it comes to the recruiting rankings, because Alabama's not first anymore. They've fallen down to number 2 behind Ohio State. And then the rest of that top 5 to top 6 is just full of SEC teams. So you love to see it. By the way, Auburn's also 6, so that's pretty impressive as well for that Hugh Freeze, a.k.a. Brain Freeze.
Shut your mouth.
That loves Peyton Thorne just so much that he does not want to go out and grab a new quarterback. Maybe this is the offseason where he does that.
Well, no, in Deuce Night, he's committed. He should be coming in. He should have the opportunity. All of that is true. But now you only have 3 games remaining, because there's no way on earth Auburn is going on a 3-game winning streak to make it to a bowl. There's no way. So you only have 3 games remaining. And even if you were going to a bowl game, that would be your 4th. It would still fall within the realm of redshirt freshmen and the fact that you can redshirt anybody. Mm-hmm. Just let Walker White go out and do something, because what you need to see and what everybody needs to see now that your season is over, you treat this just like the NFL treats their preseason games. You want to see the talent that you have, try new things, figure out if you can do something going into the offseason. That's what it is. Don't get this garbage that he likes to spew out. Now, again, you're not Alabama. You're not still trying to make the college football playoff. You're not already bowl eligible. In fact, you're playing a ULM team that's trying to get bowl eligible, and you can't even get bowl eligible.
True. Well, a lot of what the college scene has is a little bit different from the NFL that we've learned. And one of those things is if you get benched, you can leave your team. And that's what's happening currently for Boston College, Bill O'Brien, and this squad that looked really good to start off the season with, of course, Thomas Castellanos, who was, he came over from UCF. He started playing really well last year. He was really impressive with over 1,000 yards passing, and on top of that, over 1,000 yards rushing. This year, passing still good. The rushing a little bit less. He only has about 150 something yards. So I'm just going to throw that out there, all off of my mind. And now we see that he's getting benched for a guy named Grayson James, who helped win this matchup against Syracuse just last week. It was not a good game for Castellanos, but at the same time, you're not going to be perfect in every single game. So this is maybe one that you could shrug off your shoulders. But now Bill O'Brien saying that Grayson James is probably going to be the starter to finish off the season as they try and make a push for a bowl game. But here's the thing. Just because Castellanos got benched means that he can enter into the transfer portal and leave Boston College. And that's exactly what he is doing. That's not something you could do in the NFL. And if you're Peyton Thorne, this is your last season, most likely. I don't know if he could, figure out a way to finagle another year of eligibility. But if he gets benched, what's keeping him from leaving and possibly trying to get that extra year?
Well, I think and the thing with Castellanos is that he's having a really good year.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, he got benched. And I think that Bill O'Brien did this because he was like, hey, we need a little bit of a spark and we need this. And then so this is kind of the way that it's been on this. So with him, he enters a transfer portal with 1,300 yards passing, and he's only thrown 5 interceptions, and he has 18 touchdowns. I mean, again, Peyton Thorne had 5 interceptions by the second game. So, I'm like, okay, you basically are saying, look, I put something on film. I can enter the transfer portal now. And because the fact that I am getting in so early on this, I'm now available to be part of this signing class whenever they sign early so that I could even go and be a part of bowl practice for these other teams. So that's where this all comes into play with the strategy behind this. I'm actually surprised more people aren't doing this, because if you are somebody that has this resume, not saying that he's going to get into a better school, but if you have this resume and you have the ability to do so, then look, man, enter the transfer portal, see what offers you get, and you could go to a team's bowl practice. I mean, that is a legit thing that he could do, even if it's just being on the scout team and helping them get prepared for whoever they're going to be playing if they're playing a team that's similar skill sets.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember Will Rogers was one of those quarterbacks that started making the move before the season came to an end. He went and watched Washington finish off their season and their finale, of course. It gets to the point where, where are these players really going to be whenever they go into the NFL, if they even make it to the NFL, with the mentality that they have about, hey, I'm on a 4-year contract now. I can't just up and leave this team, but I'm not happy with my position. Do you think the NFL is going to be a little bit of a different area for some of these players that could show commitment if these teams actually pick up these players that they don't think have that much of commitment? If you understand what I'm saying.
No, basically isn't like what he's going to have to answer is when he has to go to the NFL Combine, why did you hop into the transfer portal? Like, why did you do this in the middle of the football season when your team is playing the way that it is and they're trying to make it into a bowl and all this other stuff? Like, that's going to be the question for him.
Explain that to me.
Now, the other part of this is I have talked to players in the NFL, and whenever a player does a holdout, whenever they're sitting out, all NFL players understand is, look, man, you're just trying to get your money.
Exactly.
Like, you're just trying to get paid. We get that this is a business decision. We get that you were saying, you know what, this is not about Boston College. It's not about anything other than the fact that I'm trying to put myself in a better situation so that I can make more money in this. And look, he was not going to get the love that he possibly could. And I'm not saying that he's going to go out and he's going to become this quarterback that goes to another program and leads them to the college football playoff.
But
he could. I mean, again, not saying he's not. I mean, right now he's sixth in the ACC in touchdown passes. He's again only has 5 touchdown or interceptions so far this year. I mean, he's still towards the bottom of the ACC when it comes to passing yardage on average, just because of the style of play that Bill O'Brien runs.
But you see the ceiling that he also has as a quarterback that can also rush the ball or run the ball, kind of like Kyler Murray or even like a Jaden Daniels. He had over 1,000 yards rushing. He had over 2,000 yards passing last season. This year, it's been a little bit different. Of course, all these other teams in the ACC, on top of that, the more competitive teams that have added on other players, it's maybe turned a little bit different for this young quarterback as he's trying to figure out exactly where he needs to go. I don't think he's wrong. And I think I've gotten to the point where I don't think these guys are wrong for finding other teams to play on, because it is all about making money.
Well,
and
it's all business.
Finding a path to the NFL.
This is pure business. All this is trying to get you into a position where you can get more eyes on you so that you can be able to make it to the next level and get paid. Yeah. That is all this is about now. The NCAA, and if you want to turn it around on them, where they're screwing up is that now they're making this a situation where players can do this and they're going to be rewarded for it, because now they're entering the transfer portal and can go through the whole recruiting process again. So this is on the NCAA, that these 1-year contracts and not sitting out and free agent this and all of that, this is all their fault.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for this sort of scenario, then he would just have to be standing on the sidelines and be okay with being a backup quarterback, or he'd have to go find somewhere to play and sit out for senior year and hoping that he could get the redshirt year that way.
And that's the interesting thing. How big of a difference would it have made if we didn't see Jaden Daniels transfer from Arizona State, obviously, to LSU? On top of that, you could look at Caleb Williams. He played at Oklahoma. He transfers to USC. Would these players be the same players that they are now if they stayed at their original schools?
No, because a lot of this has to do with skill set, coaching staff, their belief in the way they are. Because again, we're talking about Bill O'Brien. This is his first season as the head coach for Boston College, and his offense is a run-heavy offense with little passing. Right now, Boston College is one of the worst teams in the ACC when it does come to passing the football, yet they are probably middle tier, upper tier when it comes to running the ball. So the way that Bill O'Brien wants to do this is he wants to rely on his defense and be able to beat you that way. So that's the reason why Boston College started the season off 4-1. That does not bode well for the skill set of this particular quarterback, because again, he was there last year. He had 1,000 yards rushing last year to go along with the passing. New coaching staff, new quarterback coach, new coach altogether. And Bill O'Brien, let's be honest, outside of things in the NFL that he's done, obviously his couple of years at Alabama, he doesn't have this track record for developing the players like he has been talked about. So, again, Houston Texans court. I mean, this man was literally destroyed by D-Hop when it came to his coaching style. Like, he had to go back to head coach U, which is Alabama, and reform himself just so that he could then go to the New England Patriots for one season and then bolt out of there and he could go. Because again, the reason why is he was a quarterback coach for Mac Jones. Just let me know. And Mac Jones is awful.
That's rough.
He's awful. And so now he took this job and he just is not that guy anymore. Since the Houston Texans gig, his reputation has changed. And now he is not seeing eye to eye with his playing style and his coaching style. They're not meshing. So go somewhere where you can mesh with your coach and get your better playing style. That's all it's about.
256-5764-97.7 is the number to get in on the programming if you want to react to that, of course. But now I want to flip it over to something different, something that might not happen because we've already seen this man kind of turn down bigger jobs. But let's head out west to Oregon with Dan Lanning, because he's starting to pick up a little bit of, I'd say, traction to be the next coach that might go into the NFL in these upcoming seasons. We saw Jim Harbaugh do it after he was able to win a national championship with the Michigan Wolverines. He had a different type of situation, though. This is a guy that was already coaching in the NFL in prior years, took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Now we're looking at a guy like Dan Lanning, and of course, he's had a lot of success with these Oregon Ducks, 32-5 altogether.
Yeah.
He's 2-0 when it comes to the bowl games. But when it comes down to it, can every single coach that finds success in college find success on the NFL level? Jim Harbaugh's already doing a pretty good job, and I will say this:
Well,
Chargers fans love what they're seeing.
It takes a certain kind of coach.
Hold on, because Jim Harbaugh has this tradition, okay, and it happens at every single team. He goes to a school or goes to a team. First couple of years are good, everybody loves him, and then his shtick gets old.
Okay,
and that's exactly what happened at Michigan.
I thought it was the other way around.
I thought that was called the Pete, like the God.
No,
why am I blanking on his name?
No,
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, yeah, the Pete Carroll effect.
Well, see, and that's the way that
I wanted to say Pete Rose.
Like the whole shtick gets old, and then look at what happened with Michigan. He tried all these different things. He got them the national championship. He did everything that he could, but it was also kind of one of those. All right, like we're kind of over him being quirky and being weird and all that.
Also, marred by controversy.
Well, controversy, yes, but the thing is he kept winning and he kept beating Ohio State. So people at Michigan were going, you know what? He's not getting us to a national championship, but he's at least winning enough that we can't really be mad about him. Yeah. Then he actually won the national championship and bolted whenever all the allegations come out.
Just like Pete Carroll.
Exactly. 49ers, exact same thing. This man had an amazing team when they went to the Super Bowl. He absolutely did. He adjusted to his quarterback. He brought the read option truly to the NFL. Nobody was really doing it before Colin Kaepernick and the way that he adjusted the offense. But then the whole playing style and coaching style and the way that he was trying to treat it like a college, but it wasn't, that just got old for a lot of people. And they're like, look, we're not going to do this. Chargers could be the exact same thing. Like it is, Justin Herbert is having one of his best seasons that he's had. Nobody's talking about it because they're obviously not winning right now, but he's having a great season. And it is because of Harbaugh. Give it a couple of years. Just give it a couple of years.
I'll give it a couple of years. I think it's interesting, though, the way that we look at this Chargers team. It's not a team that you look at in the past, I would say just decade, and think that, hey, this team is winning because of their defense. Right now, this is the reason why the Chargers are winning. I would say Justin Herbert's doing a great job. Of course, he doesn't have the talent around him with Keenan Allen, of course, being gone. On top of that, Mike Williams is also long gone. He's been on two different teams since he was playing with the squad. So you're having to see this man adjust to what he's got. And on top of that, you bring in running backs that are helping out with this offense. But I would say the biggest part right now is about this defense. And I think that's similar to how he was playing games back in Michigan. It was a very defensive-heavy, run-heavy team. But now he's got a guy like Justin Herbert that is not afraid to sling the football and, of course, had record years as soon as he was in the NFL in the first place. The one interesting thing is, all right, comparing that 49ers team back in 2012 to what he's got now or what he had at Michigan, we're talking about guys like Alex Smith, of course, Colin Kaepernick. That was the adjustment you were talking about. Frank Gore was the running back. Michael Crabtree was the leading receiver. I mean, these are the type of people that they had at each position. Some of those guys are making it to the Hall of Fame. What they have right now, we got to still wait and see how that's going to go. But with Dan Lanning, could you see him as, of course, the Oregon head coach transferring over into the NFL for one of these interesting teams? I don't know exactly who you'd want to throw out there yet, but could you see a coach like Dan Lanning finding that same amount of success as some coaches in the past? Maybe I'd just throw in a Jim Harbaugh. Because we even saw it. Nick Saban didn't have a successful time in the NFL after he won a national championship.
I mean, look, that wasn't his fault, okay? Because that was part of the reason why Nick Saban wanted to come back to Alabama or come back to college, so that he could have more control. It's no secret Nick Saban is a control freak, okay? Like, we all realize this. But in the NFL, he didn't have control, because if this would have been college football and he, say, quote unquote, wanted Drew Brees, then he could have just went and got Drew Brees. Like, it's that easy. He goes in there, talks to it, that does a Cupid shuffle, and walks out, and boom, he's got a quarterback. Like, that was the way that Nick Saban can do this in college. In the NFL, he's got to get it approved from his owner, and his general manager's got to be there, and the money's got to be right. I mean, the money's got to be right, Alabama, but the money's got to be right. And you got to see all these different things that play into it. And Nick Saban wasn't able to do it. And instead, he got like Donovan McNabb or whoever he got that was just garbage at the end of their career. So that really wasn't 100% his fault.
And I understand
that. But he wasn't successful in the NFL to go into what we're talking about.
Exactly. And that is something you can also put into this conversation with Dan Lanning. He goes out and gets Bo Nix. And that's a quarterback that you're normally not going to be able to just grab within the NFL unless, of course, you draft him or you have to drop a few of your players to get. He gets a guy like Bo Nix. He leads him to a pretty successful season. Of course, these last 2 years, he kind of had to adjust to the quarterback, but of course, he got there. Now he grabs a guy like Dylan Gabriel. He's finding the same type of success. Is Dan Lanning a coach that would be able to make that transition to the NFL and kind of relinquish some of the power that he has at Oregon?
I think he could, but I don't know if he would really want to, though. Again, it's like you're contracted through. You're contracted through 2028. You're making $7 million a year. You'd be paid a lot more in the NFL for sure. But you're rocking with the number one team in the country. You got a great recruiting class coming in. You've got. He's got his roots too implanted into Oregon to really leave, especially at the moment.
Okay.
Maybe like when we get back around to like 2026, 2027, maybe we can start looking at it when his contract's running out. But
I'd say win a national championship, and then you might see him just gone.
Well, no, and so the thing about this you have to look at as well is his ability to kind of be a CEO at times, because since Dan Lanning has come into and went to Oregon, he basically has done with Oregon what he was doing at Georgia, and he has made them one of the best defenses in the entire country. Because if you look at his first season, they were still giving up like 22, 24 points a game. They lose 2 games, but every year after that, which was obviously 23 and then now 24, both of those seasons, they were giving up sub 20 points per game. It's like 16 and a half, which is kind of where they are right now. But the other part of this is going to be giving this offense and letting Will Stein be the offensive coordinator that he wants to be, and being able to say, look, man, this is your offense. This is what you're going with. I am not going to do it, because Steen's part of the reason why Bo Nix got and was able to grow inside of this Oregon offense, because he came in from UTSA and he was able to continue to coach him in a way that he wanted to be able to grow.
Very high-powered UTSA team too. That was before, of course, this season, the season before that, whenever, they started falling off. This is a high-powered UTSA team whenever he was in control. Moving over to Oregon, gets a quarterback like Bo Nix, who struggled at Auburn, and I think a lot of it just came down to him, being a dreamer and wanting to always start for this team. His parents, of course, being all for it, but this is just something that wasn't a part of his path.
No, and if you're looking at a team that potentially that he would go to in the NFL, that I think, okay, this could be a winning situation for him. The obvious answer for me is the Chicago Bears. This is because what's going to happen is Eberflus has come in. He has totally lost the entire locker room. You've heard so many people talking about how horrible of a coaching job that he has done. Caleb Williams is starting to regress, and that he is starting to go even in. But in saying that, you look at the offensive players that this Bears team has right now and the ones that they could bring in the future, between adding the fact that you have DJ Moore, you've already drafted Rome Odunze to go with Caleb Williams, you have DeAndre Swift, and this is an offense that should be really good in the NFL, and they're not. So, and I know Thomas Brown has taken over in the whole and everything that's going on, but I think that if there was a team and Dan Lanning was looking for somewhere, he does want to go somewhere where it looks like the pieces are there. They just need a different voice. And I think that's kind of also what happened at Oregon as well. He comes in, brings a different voice, but also I'm going to be more hands-on with the defense. I'm going to let my offense be the offense. And you're seeing it being able to be progressive, and Oregon is the number one team in the country because of it.
Yeah, I think perfect observation from you, Joe Hunk. Great conversation altogether, and love you guys to jump in 256-5764-97.7. Throw us your opinions on it. But we also have a little bit of a subject to hop into before we get into break, Bandy. And I will say,
makes me nervous when he says that.
We will be talking about Tennessee and Georgia in the next hour to start it all off. But
your hand's on the button, isn't it?
He's ready for
his hand. He already had his finger on the button. If he takes his finger off the button, it's now like a bomb.
Okay,
it's like a bomb. He can't. It's like a grenade.
I can't move my foot.
You can't. Yeah, you can't move your foot, and he can't take it. He can't take his hand off the trigger.
He's on a landmine right now.
Exactly. He can't move his foot.
When we get back,
take me home.
I want to talk a little bit about the top NFL matchups. Of course, Thursday night football tonight, as well as a little bit of what we saw from Mike Tomlin and his comments about his former wide receiver, of course, now being on the Baltimore Ravens. So keep it with us here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This action update is brought to you by G-Bank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. VSiN.com/G-Bank.
Thursday night football, the Eagles host the Commanders. Philadelphia 7-2, 3-1 at home. Washington 7-3 on the season, 3-2 on the road. Philadelphia healthy heading into the game. A couple of players are dinged up, including cornerback Darius Slay and wide receiver Devonta Smith. They all sat out Monday's practice, but are good to play tonight. For Washington, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore is out with a hamstring injury. Good news, though, for running back Brian Robinson Jr. He's off the injury report and will return to the lineup. Philadelphia is favored by 3.5. The over-under is 48.5. Washington plus 160. Philadelphia minus 225 to win the NFC East. The Commanders plus 185. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
It's time to get ready for game day. That means Alabama football and tailgating. Whether you're tailgating at home or at Bryant-Denny, visit Brooks & Collier for North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers like Big Green Egg, Blaze, Delta Heat, Memphis, and Traeger. Satisfy any palate with our wall of rubs and seasonings. For all your tailgating needs, visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for over 75 years. Roll Tide.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. With the exception of the morning, it does look like we are going to be dry today. Temperatures, though, going to be on the lower end of the spectrum. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-60s. We drop into the mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine Friday afternoon. Going to be cool once again, but cool is still seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the mid-60s, dropping into the low and mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is for the bourbons and the Cadillacs with the tin.
You think this is how Bryce Underwood's feeling right now?
Look, that man right there, if this story is true, I would 1,000% be pulling up to the practice facility to this song.
Sheesh.
I would be rolling.
On 3.
And it would be the bump in my trunk the entire athletic department would be vibrating.
Say, hey, I'll stay for 5 years if you add on another mill.
I'm telling you.
Michigan, according to On 3.
By the way, it's the Morning Blitz.
This is the Morning Blitz.
I just wanted to throw that in really fast because I know we were supposed to do that.
Yeah,
but this just came down, and so we're all just going, whoa.
Yeah, Michigan is apparently prepared to offer LSU 5-star QB commit Bryce Underwood at $10.5 million over 4 years. Now, when we talk about a guy like Underwood, he's from the state of Michigan. He's committed verbally to LSU. But, I mean, if you are Michigan right now, you need some sort of spark to kind of get the fan base going again. And this would be said spark, even though you're dropping $10.5 million on a kid. But still, this is also a kid that's got 71 touchdown passes through 3 seasons in high school and only 6 interceptions.
Yes, and if you're Michigan and the cupboard is extremely bare, then yes, this is something that you would consider doing, because in this day and age, what we were just talking about, all this money is going to be able to buy you a new team and buy you a better team. So, Michigan right now, recruiting wise, they're 11th in the country at the moment with this. And I say this at the moment because if this story is true and they do decide to do that, then okay, then they're going to be jumping up when, number one player in the country is involved. Absolutely. But right now you have the number 11 class with a bunch of players that are not quarterbacks. Like that's my biggest thing in looking at this team, and that's their biggest need. And so, yes, I know that they're not having a great year. I know that there are Michigan fans that are upset with the year, especially coming off the national championship. You were expecting a lot more from them in 2024, even because you're coming off the championship. But more is coming into a situation where literally you've had the NCAA there the entire time. You have had players leaving left and right because of everything that's happened from last year to going to the NFL and everything else. And so now Moore is looking at a situation where he wants to be there and help this program win. He's been there since 2018. He's literally done everything that you can do in the athletic department and done it as a winner. So the part about him and saying, hey, look, I want this thing to work. I want to win. Now you've got to have the quarterback. Again, my problem isn't with Auburn. My problem is with Peyton Thorne, because he shouldn't have even come back. If there's a decent quarterback at Auburn, this is a bowl team and this is a much better team. It is all about the guy that catches the football from the center every single play. Yeah. That is the most important thing. Second most important is going to be your offensive line, because with a crappy offensive line, you can have Patrick Mahomes back there. You're not winning the Super Bowl. Go back and watch the 2020 Super Bowl.
You can also have Carson Beck back there, and
Carson Beck's part of it.
He's part of the problem, but so is that line. All right,
no, he is part of the problem. Right. But so now this Bryce Underwood story, if you're throwing out $10 million, which I would assume in the contract that I'm saying is that would be 10 years over the course or over 4 years. Yeah, that would be my assumption in that. So you're looking at about $1.2 million or something like that per season. Maybe $2 million per season.
We're not good at math.
No, we're not good at math, especially when you most likely, if a guy's this good, who's the number one player in the country, the number one quarterback in the country, and obviously the number one player in Michigan, you're going to be doing it. But for him, this is about going to your hometown school and once a year Xing out the O's in wood and being able to say that you're the one that helped Michigan get back after this god-awful season.
No doubt.
This is college football in 2024. This is it.
Oh, yeah.
This is what you're going to get every single season now. These contract numbers, how much are these collectives offering out players? Again, what we talked about, we're going to talk about next hour. Let's not forget, rumored how much Nico got to come to Tennessee. So this is it right here. If you're wanting a quarterback, because it's the most important position in football and in sports, you are going to have to pay this money. Yeah. There's going to be a point in time, if the NCAA doesn't get a hold of this, that now quarterbacks in college are going to be getting the same pay as quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just going to happen unless they start getting a little something on it.
I mean, that'll probably take quite some time until we'll get to that point. All right.
I mean, again, if I'm saying 10 million, like he's getting it over a course of a few seasons, the moment that he signs his name on the dotted line, he may have a notification. Oh, look, you have $10 million in your bank account.
Trying to make a Japanese PSN.
Exactly. Yeah, he can do it for free.
He can live in Japan. And then
Yeah, he
use
could
his
pay for
private
Japanese classes so they can learn the language so they can actually read what he's doing on his screen.
Have that private jet just taking him back and
Just
forth from
me-
football games.
Yeah, me, on the other hand, I need a YouTube video to help me out.
And on top of that, he could also be just, doing classes online, because this is how crazy college has gotten all together. I mean, you don't even need to be on the campus if we're being straight up. You can do it all online and then just make it up whenever you get to the football field and score a few touchdowns.
And this is recruiting class is for this year. It is for the recruiting class in this recruiting year that's about to wrap up in a few weeks. And at the moment, Ohio State has the number 2 overall quarterback, who is the number 2 player in the country, who is a quarterback from Ohio, and Tavian St. Clair, and Underwood is above him right now, committed to LSU. At the moment, that is what we're having. But if Underwood chooses to go to Michigan, it flips everything for when it comes to Michigan recruiting.
Well, you know what?
They're automatically they will finish with the top 5 class.
I think I like that Keelan Russell guy a little bit better. The Alabama commit, just QB. I'm just saying. Looking forward to a nice 2025 season, 2026. Jalen Milroe is going to be gone soon, so Alabama reeing up is pretty good.
Is this a quarterback that can make 2 reads?
Yeah, no. This
just double
is a
check.
guy that could definitely do that.
2 reads,
and that's why we see
one. More than one?
That's why we see Alabama so high up here. The team behind Alabama with this the commitment to Keelan Russell, by the way, is SMU, a team that had to pay to be in the ACC. I just want you guys to kind of take that in. And also the team that is leading the ACC, not speculated to be number 1 when it comes down to, of course, the college football playoff bracket.
Do not get me started.
Because
on
Miami,
the ACC tiebreakers.
Miami be number 1 right now, according to the committee.
Look,
all right, but I will say
the ACC tiebreakers. I mean, my goodness. Between Clemson and even seeing if Clemson or Miami is going to get in this, if they win out, that is extremely difficult to pay attention to.
I know you were talking about classes earlier. We're going to need a whole class, a whole 101 section just to deal with these tiebreakers.
No, it is, because you start getting down to what your opponents do. But see, then the argument is going to come in this, and this is where we're going to say, like, teams are eventually and coaches are eventually going to go, fine, add more games. Because if now you are judging me, and you're judging if I'm going to play in the SEC championship or the ACC championship based on my opponents that you give me, then we've got a problem, because I didn't choose these opponents. Like, I didn't choose, okay, well, do I want Texas or do I want Oklahoma? Since we can only play one a year, which one do I get, one or the other? Like, I didn't make this choice. I didn't choose to get either Kentucky or Vanderbilt. I didn't choose to get either Ole Miss or Mississippi State or whatever. So if we're basing this on what you gave me from the SEC office and you said, this is my schedule, now we have a problem because it's out of my hands. Mm-hmm. Now we have, I've won everything but one game. And now I can't go to our own conference championship because we've got 4 tiebreakers and we've already gotten 5 down the list. And now this one is strength of your opponents. Well, I can't help that so-and-so sucks. I can't help that Oklahoma bet everything on Jackson Arnold and he's awful. I can't help that.
It's going to be bad. It's like, what if that conference championship happens and the committee goes back? It's like, oh, we made a mistake. Technically, y'all didn't win a tiebreaker against us, so you should have been playing in this game.
Yeah. I mean, and so
we had to look back over it 5 times to make sure we were right. And even then, we still got it wrong.
Yeah. So now this is where these conversations are going to come in. And whenever they have these meetings, it's like, look, give us more games so that we have more of control on this, because we've argued that we need to go to 9 or we need to go to 10. I say that you have 11, but hey, I mean, give me every single game being against your conference outside of 1. Like, I'm okay with that, but give me that so that I can control this a little bit more.
I wonder how much of it comes from, of course, the depth that these teams have. You got to have some of those easy games just so you don't lose some of your players. But
yeah,
again,
have those in the preseason. We call that a preseason game.
Preseason, you get to use more of your guys. Of course, their preseason in college football goes into the stat books at the end of the regular season, but still, you got to look at the opponents. I mean, we saw plenty of teams that probably should not be facing off against top-tier SEC teams, but that's exactly what we saw. Even the low tier, I mean, Auburn, of course, put like 70 up on Alabama A&M. I mean, that was just oof.
No, you shouldn't have been playing Alabama A&M. Congrats on you guys getting your budget for this year. I get why Alabama A&M makes the game, and they said, yes, absolutely, we'll do it, but you shouldn't be playing this game.
Keelan Russell, by the way, 6,094 yards, 75 touchdowns, 3 interceptions through 2 years at Duncanville.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The new Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in South Huntsville is focused on serving great food prepared with the absolute freshest ingredients, featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. See all the delicious options at Cheeseburger Bobby's for yourself. Check out the menu and more at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Buckhorn Youth Sports was created in 2018 to provide kids in our community the ability to compete at every sport possible. We offer football, flag and tackle, cheer, volleyball, wrestling, basketball, baseball, and softball. You can find us on Facebook at Buckhorn Youth Sports, where we prepare the future. Buckhorn Youth Sports is a proud supporter of Buckhorn High School football. Go Bucks!
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. With the exception of the morning, it does look like we are going to be dry today. Temperatures, though, going to be on the lower end of the spectrum. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-60s. We drop into the mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine Friday afternoon. Going to be cool once again, but cool is still seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the mid-60s, dropping into the low and mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
3, 2, 1.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery, 256-576-4977. This is the Morning Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, as well as John Abraham and the bandy man Bailey Lowery on the Morning Blitz, brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
The guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. We had a little bit of rain yesterday going into last night, which, golly, it was pouring down. I left my house this morning, and I was just like, it looked like the apocalypse hit.
No,
because it was just raining, and there were leaves everywhere.
I woke up this morning at like 4 a.m. and it was pouring. I like this. I like this.
It's nice.
Just give this to me. Like, give this to me the whole time.
Yeah.
WZZN TV is where you can also watch the show simply by going to YouTube, Facebook, X, and looking up 977 ESPN, and you can see it right there. As Austin hops on, says, "Sup guys, ready for that West Morgan and Madison Academy football game that is going to be coming up tomorrow night."
And you will be able to listen to that one on the main 97.7 feed. So look forward to that. But if you also are just accustomed to go into the app, go into Zone 2, they're also going to be there. I mean, you're not going to miss them if you go there either. So that's the great thing about the app that you can get over on Apple and Android devices, as well as, of course, Talk Radio WZZN for a lot of the UAH, the Havoc hockey, and even a little bit of the Alabama basketball is going to be over there. So make sure you guys are strapped with both of our apps.
Yes, you also have Alabama and Purdue that's going to be happening. Huge. Actually, you have MA and West Morgan is going to start on Talk Radio, and then immediately once the Alabama Purdue basketball game wraps up, MA is going to swap over to 977 ESPN The Zone. Also tomorrow night you have Huntsville Havoc hockey, as they're going to be taking on Pensacola, and so you can watch and listen, or you should listen to that as well tonight. Washington and Philly.
Let's not confuse the people too much though. Zone 2 for Madison Academy, West Morgan. Just if you guys want the full game entirely, just go and listen to it the same way you've been listening to it all season long. Yeah. But we got to get in that Alabama Purdue.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also you don't even have to look for the numbers 2 or anything like that. Just click on the app. You're going to see Madacad's logo, boom, right there.
Bada bing.
And you're going to be good
Bada boom.
To go with that. So a lot of things that are happening, including the fact that not only do you get Alabama and Mercer on Saturday, but you're also going to get Tennessee, Georgia.
We get the game of the week
as well.
Game of the week.
According to College Football 25.
No, it is the game of the week.
It is.
It absolutely is the game of the week, because the only other game that's a ranked versus ranked game is actually also in the SEC, and that is Missouri and South Carolina.
And let's just say that Missouri does not look like a ranked team at the moment, and South Carolina is barely in to the
South
top
Carolina's
25.
good, though.
But they are good.
South Carolina's good, though.
South Carolina has just been the definition of, all right, you're going to come to our house. You think you're going to win? Not so much.
Well,
no, we got a game plan for you.
Norris Sellers, he's just going to pick you up and throw you around like he's Hulk.
Yeah, it's like, you think you're going to win? Oh, that's funny.
And the thing with Missouri is Brady Cook hasn't played since he tried to play against Alabama.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why Missouri is also kind of falling down the rankings.
Still able to get a big win, though, against Oklahoma.
He is questionable for this game.
Yeah.
He is questionable against this. for this game.
Drew,
But
is it Drew Pine? Who's the quarterback for this?
Yeah.
This Missouri team.
Drew Pine.
Is it? It's not Drew Pine. It's a guy that's like similar to Drew Pine in the way that I'm gonna forget.
And
him
here
a
in my
few
head, I
years.
was thinking, is he saying Chris Pine? Like that's a totally different pine tree.
Chris.
I mean, that's a totally different one.
It was a freaking. Oh yeah, it is
No,
Drew Pine.
it is Drew
All
Pine.
right.
Yes.
I get mixed up with a lot of other quarterbacks that have come and gone. in
He
the second
he
string.
has 3 touchdown passes this year, but he also has 3 interceptions.
Hey.
Yeah.
I think
Perfect
I
50-50.
think those 3 interceptions actually
I
came
think-
from Alabama.
I think, and I also think that is that's like one game for Carson Beck is 3 interceptions. So yeah,
that is true.
look, it's
I
true.
mean, yeah, it is.
It is true.
And it's weird that we're saying that because what, like, beginning of the season, like even like about the halfway point, we were propping him up at. I'm saying we. It was mainly me that said this.
Well, the committee as well.
Yeah, that we were propping him up as like a pro level, as an NFL ready quarterback.
Yeah, no, I mean this team is in general was looked at like one of the best in all of college football, and of course you're going to have a little bit of a drop off. You lose some wide receivers. On top of that, we forget that they also lose some guys to legal matters. And now Kirby Smart's starting to
Look,
run
man,
thin with these players.
Look, you live a quarter mile at a time. Like they are literally living the Fast and the Furious over in Athens. Okay,
Golly. Like let's get all the fun in college. Come on, take it easy now.
They're living life a quarter mile at a time. Yeah. All right, but Carson Beck, its decision, man, has thrown 9 interceptions over the last 4 games.
Yeah, it has not been good. They still have a top passing offense in the SEC, but at the same time, a lot of that does come from having to throw some balls to the opposing team, and it just has not looked good.
No, you know, we were talking about that being the game of the week. I'm sorry, I'm sidetracking this a little bit, but I just saw something that made me sad, but it also relates to this.
Is it breaking news?
No, don't say anything.
No, for any listeners out there who have not had the chance to play college football 25 yet, because this is the game of the week, it just announced it's going to be having a free play weekend. So you can download it for free. You can play it for free this entire weekend. And it made me sad because I'll never be able to play it because it's never coming to PC.
Get a little taste.
No, you're right. You're never going to be able to play on that. I've got 3 seasons going right now.
Sucks.
Peyton Thorne has sat on the bench all of every single snap outside of 1.
Who's your freaking quarterback right
Walker freaking White. He has been look, I played.
How's it been going?
We've lost 1 game, and that was to Arkansas, and that was because my defense could not stop anything, and the final score was like 66-59.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was one of those.
Taylor
Okay.
Green will do it to
No,
you.
I have
slobber
literally
knocker.
I have 3 dynasties going. 2 of them are with my teams, Auburn on one, Tennessee on the other. The other one is that, hey, I'm building a team up and then moving up my grounds. But the game is addictive. The recruiting is addictive. Sometimes you just play the game so that you can recruit again. Like it is that addictive on there. But yes, Walker White has been the only quarterback that I have went with the entire time when playing with Auburn. The very first moment I booted the game up and played with Auburn, I benched Peyton Thorne. Something Hugh Freeze needs to do. Something that you can go with the backup quarterback, which is something that Tennessee may have to do because they're forced to. We don't know if they're going to. If Nico is available, you put Nico out there. Like you absolutely do. What Tennessee is thinking about is doing what they do best, and that is getting to Carson Beck. That's all their focus needs to be, because when you rush the quarterback, that is when you make the bad passes. He's already throwing 9 interceptions to Florida, to Texas, to Mississippi State, to Ole Miss. Like he's throwing these interceptions. Like over the last 4 games, he has 5 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. He is averaging almost 283 yards a game passing, which still is in the top 12 of the NCAA. But the problem with it is that the decision making for him right now, that zoned out meme that you're seeing going around social media right now is him in a nutshell. Like that man is somewhere else. Yeah. And so if Tennessee can get in the backfield and at least force him to throw bad passes, then that is where they're going to do it. And that's how that they beat Georgia. Not saying it will happen. I'm just saying they have got to force those passes, because Tennessee is not good at picking the football off, especially on the road or at neutral sites. They only have 2 right now on the road in neutral sites. One of those was against NC State. That's why I say neutral site. The other one was against Oklahoma. Like their secondary and picking the football off, they don't do it that often. Yeah. So if they're going to get an interception on the road this week, it's going to have to be because of that defense.
Yeah, and I think the craziest thing about this game currently is Georgia is a 10-point favorite. Now, I don't think that you could go all out and say that Tennessee is the better team because Georgia, of course, still has the ability to win these types of games. But at the same time, the way we've seen Carson Beck struggling, ETN hasn't really lived up to the expectations whenever he came in. It's just not looking like the Georgia team that we thought in the beginning of the season. And now they're still getting that praise and that love like it is the beginning of the season. I just don't think that's right.
Well, no, and I think that the line has a lot to do with Nico as compared to Gaston Moore, who would be coming in and playing in his place. Because so far, Gaston Moore on the season is 64% completion percentage. He's only thrown 2 touchdown passes. Both of those were against Kent State. He's already thrown 2 interceptions. One was against Chattanooga. The other one was at Alabama. Because remember, he came in for that one pass. That one play because Nico had to step out of the game and he threw the interception. And so like that is where now you're looking at a drop off between Nico and the backup quarterback. And that's the reason why you're seeing that 10-point spread. If Tennessee comes out and says that Nico is good to go, which Heupel said earlier in the week that he's been active. Obviously, he's got to go through all their variation of concussion protocol. You don't really have that transparency in college football with concussion protocol the same way that you do with the NFL. And so I think that he is going to be on the field. I fully expect him to play.
Yeah.
I think that 10-point line is going to drop if and when Tennessee says he's going to be available.
I fully agree. I mean, Nico, he's shown resilience. Of course, this is his first season as a starter. He hasn't gotten banged up too many times, but again, he's not even full through his first season as a starting quarterback. On the flip side, all right, if we do see a struggling Carson Beck early in this game, what are the odds we see Gunnar Stockton come in? Because although he is yet to throw a touchdown this season because he hasn't really had to come in and play, he still is a capable quarterback to win a game in the SEC. That's the whole reason he is a backup on this team right now.
Well, and there's multiple things to be wary of or keep in mind because I'll be straight right now. That 10.5-point line, and we haven't talked about them yet, that's looking really nice for wacky underdog picks.
Trust me, I've already put it down.
Like that is looking that way because I know the SEC injury report is not, again, finely tuned just yet, but so far, running back Roderick Robinson, who is the number, I think he's the number 4 running back for Georgia, is out. You also have Branson Robinson, who that is actually the one I was thinking of. He is going to be out in this game. But at the moment, Cash Jones as well as Trevor Etienne are listed as questionable. Now, Cash Jones, okay, cool. Trevor Etienne, he's your number 1 running back. I know that you have Frazier right behind him. I know that you have Dell. I know this is Georgia in the running back position. You've got plenty of them. But not having Trevor Etienne and a Carson Beck that could be struggling, that is where this could be a very big deal.
Yeah.
Because now your run game is going to be different if Etienne is not going to be there. He's listed as questionable. We'll see how this changes over the course of the next 24 hours. But if he doesn't play, now you're in a different situation with Georgia and what Carson Beck can see as basically like your support net on this. Nico is listed as questionable as well when it comes to Tennessee and their injury report. So that's why I'm saying, look, just be wary, notice that as well, that whenever you're starting to think about your wacky underdog picks or the Friday trifecta, ETN is questionable. Nico is questionable. We'll see how this changes in 24 hours because it'll be updated tonight at 7:00.
And on top of that, of course, Kobe Young, one of the leading receivers for this Georgia team, is also going to be out in this game. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions to be had whether or not Carson Beck will have a successful time against this Tennessee team. But thank God for the Georgia Bulldogs, this one's in Athens.
Well, no, it is. And I'll also let you know, because this was talked about as well, Dylan Sampson, the running back for Tennessee, he is not on the injury report at all. So
he's fine, dude.
So again, he's fine, but there was that question because of the last game if he was going to be healthy. So if we're looking at comparisons on even availability, because last year we wouldn't have been able to say, oh, Nico is questionable. Oh, ETN is questionable. Now we're seeing these quote unquote official things with the injury report. now it kind of gives you a guide of what to think about going into the game.
It's something that gives certain fans a leg up on the competition, especially when they join in on the Wacky Underdog picks or the Football Fridays in the Doghouse. Some other games to look at for those Wacky Underdog picks that will be going down tomorrow, of course, fighting for the final prize of the year for this challenge. Cincinnati is currently a 9-point underdog against Iowa State. New Mexico State, who got a huge upset against the Auburn team last season, is currently a 38-point underdog.
Proof that quarterback is important.
Against Texas A&M. True, as well as some of the coaching staff also going over to Vanderbilt. On top of that, similar to that Georgia-Tennessee line, we see Wisconsin as a 14-point underdog, except for they are at home against the number one team in the country, of course, Oregon. And we look down the list a little bit more. South Carolina is currently a 13.5-point favorite over Missouri. This one is in Columbia, so take that into account. But this is still a top 25 Missouri team, right? I mean, they've got Theo Weiss. They've got – the Bandy's looking at me like this.
Brady Cook.
Yeah. How much of this is a drop-off without Brady Cook? The running backs aren't as spectacular as I thought either. So
I mean,
and Brady Cook is listed as doubtful for this weekend.
Because I know these two teams aren't on the same caliber. Like, just ripping that Band-Aid off here.
Yeah.
But can you make the comparison that Missouri losing Brady Cook is essentially the same as Tennessee losing Nico?
Yes. Yes, I would say that for sure.
That it impacts that program that much?
I think actually Tennessee would have a better chance of winning even without Nico compared to this Mizzou team without, of course, Brady Cook.
The decision making it from both of the quarterbacks in the Georgia Tennessee game is something that is going to be focused on a lot the closer we get to this football game, because Nico hasn't made good decisions in passing the ball, but Carson Beck hasn't made good decisions in passing the ball. But at the same time, Dylan Sampson has covered up a lot of Tennessee's issues at the quarterback position in the decision making. So that's why I say that I think Brady Cook being out for Missouri is a much bigger deal, because if Brady Cook is in, one, I think Missouri has a much better chance against Alabama, and that game isn't a snoozer after the first quarter.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I start looking at these other matchups and start thinking, look, Missouri could have, you know, even though they beat Oklahoma, which you're going to hear here in just a minute. But even though they beat Oklahoma, it wouldn't have even been that close if Brady Cook would have been the quarterback. And you're also looking at Missouri potentially being one of those 3-loss teams that you talk about with the college football playoff if they finish the season strong. Without Brady Cook, totally different situation. I'm not saying that Gaston Moore isn't a drop-off from Nico, because he absolutely is. I'm just saying that with the offense that Heupel runs, it can cover up a lot of the blemishes on the offense if he's continuing to go through Dylan Sampson.
I'll say this, Dylan Sampson, he equals both Marcus Carroll and what's his name? Nate. I forgot it. I just had it and then I forgot it. But either way, those two running backs that kind of are 1A and then, you know, a 1B for Nate Noel, that's his name, for that Missouri squad. On top of that, just to finish off these Wacky Underdog preview picks, USC is currently a 9-point favorite against Nebraska. Definitely a game you could see going the opposite way. And Virginia, currently a 22.5-point underdog against a Notre Dame team that has shown us before this season that they could lose these games with these big spreads. So definitely keep an eye on those and more. We'll talk more about that tomorrow when we get into the full-fledged picks. When we get back, we got the play-by-playoffs. Joe will be throwing a bunch of different calls at us from this past week in football and whatever sports he's decided to put together. That's what's coming up when we get back here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. With the exception of the morning, it does look like we are going to be dry today. Temperatures, though, going to be on the lower end of the spectrum. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-60s. We drop into the mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine Friday afternoon. Going to be cool once again, but cool is still seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the mid-60s, dropping into the low and mid-40s as we head into the overnight, early Saturday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
But all I knew was Dad is gone, and we're not going home
ever again.
It's time to stop.
We welcome you back to Late Night with the Morning Blitz.
It's actually exactly Delilah. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome in. We appreciate you joining us this evening.
You ever want to fall asleep?
Welcome to the early morning of the Morning Blitz.
That's right.
You ever want to fall asleep early in the morning? Well, definitely listen to our show.
Night is gone.
Psych!
2 hours of nonstop chill sports talk over here on 97.7 The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
I don't like the sound
we
of
get
this.
Fired up every single day for you.
I don't like that. I don't like what Joe's
The
saying.
gravelly voice really comes into play with this.
It reminds me of his
It really
opening
does.
over on the Tom Abraham show.
Yeah.
What is it for?
How about that
the other
Michigan
part?
contract?
How about that? Bryce Underwood, $10 million.
Wonder if it'll fix what they got up there.
You know, I'm glad.
know.
You know, I'm
Could
glad
be
we
a
don't have.
problem.
I'm glad we don't have any play-by-play off calls like this. All right? All of the calls are very loud and exciting.
No, and what's bad is I was just telling John just a few seconds ago, like I don't think we actually even got a winner from last week because we never agreed on the one. I think we all kind of agreed on the Washington Commanders Hail Mary play.
That one was good. When was the thick six? When was that one? Was that not last week?
Let's
I
see.
think that was 2
No.
weeks ago. Okay.
No, yeah. So that was that. But then we also had the Stanford Notre Dame. Go!
Yeah, I didn't pick that one.
Yeah,
that's
we had
bad
that.
sport. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah. Then you had the Titans interception by Amani Hooker to end the game, where Coach Mack's doing one play call and Mike Key's doing another.
Okay.
You have the interception on the Detroit Lions game from Dan Miller. Dan Miller may be on this week's as well. And so, yeah, it was kind of one of those. All right, so we never actually got a winner on that. We'll go to it here in a little while.
Interception. That's all I'm going. Washington interception. Or sorry, touchdown on a Hail Mary.
Touchdown on a Hail Mary. Yeah, no, that was it. But we got 2 last week because we were actually late. But anyways, fine. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Now, that brings up this week's, and that brings us to this week's play-by-playoffs, where we come up with some of the best play calls around the country for you to choose which one was the best from this past week. It could be any sport: hockey, basketball, football, obviously soccer with and as well as baseball, any of that. We've had a Freddie Freeman home run being one of our winners as well. And then at the end of the football season, we're going to put everything together and we're going to have like our own little, playoffs. So we have not 5 this week, but 6 different play calls. 6 different calls, one of which from inside the state of Alabama that we are going to be going with. Wait till you get to this one, because you want to talk about an ADHD hyper-focused moment. That was me yesterday trying to find this call.
I was there for it.
He was there for it. And he kept looking at me. John kept saying, Joe, it's okay. You don't have to put it in. I'm like, no, we are putting this in.
Just
dang
get
it.
this call instead of this call, because
No.
it's impossible to find.
No, sir.
No, he
So
didn't.
I spent hours trying to find this one call. So that's going to be coming up at the end. But we start in Columbia, Missouri. Mike Kelly on the call for Tiger Radio Network. We just referenced this in the last segment as Missouri picked up the win over Oklahoma because of this play.
Arnold takes the snap, comes back over the middle, flush in the pocket, moving right. Ball comes free. Ball comes free, scooped up by Missouri. Zion Young at the 15 to the 10, to the house, to the house, to the house with 30 seconds to play.
3 times.
A scoop and score for Missouri. How do you like that?
How do you like that?
3 times equals extra emphasis. I like that call.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah. So
big
not
moment.
bad?
Big moment for Missouri too.
Well, it
so.
was a big moment, and it's also the first call, so you really don't have anything to judge it on as compared to the other ones. I'm going to say, though, there's a lot of other ones on here that you're going to think is way better.
Okay.
Yes,
You
there are.
You're teasing us right now.
I am, and this is going to be one of them. As last week, we all talked about it. We've discussed it numerous times this week. Miami got upset by Georgia Tech, and it all was because Cam Ward had the opportunity to drive Miami down the field for a game-winning touchdown. Instead, on the very first play of the drive, he fumbles the football.
Ooh.
The Georgia Tech Sports Network had the call.
Here's the snap. Tech only rushes 3. Dancing around in the pocket, escaping out to his right, still backpedaling, giving ground. He is sacked. The ball is out. Rolling free. Jackets have it. Jackets have it. The sack, the fumble, and the recovery by Vandenberg. And Bobby Dodd Stadium has erupted.
That's the Triforce right there. The sack, the fumble, the
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah.
I love that all together. And then just good for the Georgia Tech. I mean, their season it started off with such a big win against Florida State, just for them to think, oh, well, Florida State's actually not that good. But then to do it again against the other best team in the ACC, it's just huge moment for
They
the
play
fan
Florida
base.
this year because then
It's
they
wonderful.
basically would just be Florida State champs.
No, they haven't. They're not going to play
Okay, just
Florida.
double check.
Unless they go to a bowl game.
Yes. All right.
Better
So
chance of Florida.
there is one of your nominees as well.
Nice.
Now we go to the game that a lot of us talked about and multiple dogs of the week came from.
Mm-hmm.
That was last Thursday night. And that was the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati scores to make it a 1-point game. Instead of going for the field goal, they go for 2. We all kind of know what happened, but if you don't, then the reason why I'm saying here's Jerry Sandusky, not that one, on the call for WBAL on the 2-point conversion.
Burrow takes the snap. Ravens bring blitz pressure. Burrow throws to the end zone. It's incomplete. It's incomplete. And with 38 seconds left to play, the Hayes in the barn. Oh, what a wild way to end it tonight, as the Ravens will sweep the series from the Bengals and improve to 7-3.
I like the metaphor.
Yeah.
The haze in the barn.
Haze in the barn.
We get it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, it was a little underwhelming. But I mean, it is just an incomplete pass.
No,
That's all it is.
and so far right now, Georgia Tech is our winner. We still have 3 more to go, but Georgia Tech's the winner. I said this at the beginning when we were talking.
Yeah.
Dan Miller going to show up once again in the play-by-playoffs because Sunday Night Football, Lions down big at the half, come back. They tied it with a 50-plus yard field goal to make it 23 apiece. They get the ball back. They have an opportunity to win it in regulation with the 52-yard field goal from Jake Bates. Here is the call from the Lions Radio Network.
From 52 yards out to send the Lions home with a victory. There's the snap, spot, kick away. It is up, and it is good. He got it. We're going to fly home on the wings of Jake Bates. Wow, baby. Good from 58. Good from 52. And that's good enough for a victory for the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to be honest with you, all right?
Yeah.
Whenever he kicked it up, since it was such a close one to the crossbar, I was thinking to myself, I was like, he better make it seem like he better put that image in my mind, how close it's going to be. And by saying it's good,
the holding
that right there made it perfect. And then, of course, him saying it was good from 58, it's good from here, all that
We're
stuff.
flying home on the wings of Jake Bates.
This is why you watch the Spring Football League. Nobody would have known where this guy came from if they didn't watch the Spring Football League, the Michigan Panthers. This guy was a hero for that team the whole way through.
He came from the Michigan Panthers?
Yes. And being picked up from the Detroit Lions was a huge thing for the hometown hero.
Interesting.
So we go from a made field goal to a blocked field goal.
Is this
Kansas City Chiefs Radio Network?
A little bit of bias behind this one.
No. Dude, you can't tell me that a blocked field goal to keep a perfect season together would not be an exciting call.
Okay, but it's for Chiefs, so it's whatever.
But but I'm just saying, Mitch Holtis on the
magic.
goals, Will Lutz with the blocked field goal to keep the Chiefs undefeated.
Lutz waiting for the snap. Placement is down. Lutz's kick is blocked. It's blocked. It's blocked. The Chiefs blocked the kick. They're going to stay undefeated. The Kansas City Chiefs blocked a 35-yard field goal attempt. Kansas City wins this game on a blocked field goal. The Kansas City Chiefs are 9-0.
You know, I don't think that he can say Kansas City normally because his touchdown call is touchdown Kansas City. I don't think he can say Kansas City like normally.
There's a flow to it.
There's always a flow. Yeah, exactly.
He said they blocked it 6 times. All right. So if that is,
I gotta let him know.
That's 50% of the call right there. And I gotta admit, yes, it was probably unbelievable for those guys to watch actually happen.
It's a block.
It
was like a 20-yard field goal. What was it? 35. It was a 35-yard field goal.
But it was Kansas City, so I just refuse to believe that there isn't some kind of voodoo in the locker room going on.
Nothing makes me just like, oh wow, that was a huge win. That was a clutch moment. It's Kansas City. It's not like if Jack State just threw a huge Hail Mary to tie up this game.
No, that's next.
No, I can feel like the vitriol forming for this franchise.
Oh, the hatred's there.
Yeah, because it's like the Patriots back in the day, like in the mid 2000s when Tom Brady was just running through the league. It's that kind of hate. Like, all right, it's the Patriots again. All right, it's Kansas City again.
Bandy, people like dynasties.
I know, and
inevitably
it's going to happen to another team. And right now, it's Kansas City.
And somebody liked the dynasty enough that they broke into Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes' house.
Yeah. Are they trying to
that
break
really
it?
happened like yesterday, like last night. Yeah.
Happen again?
I don't know. He was probably a Taylor Swift fan. He was trying to see if Taylor had anything at Kelsey's, like a toothbrush or something. I don't know.
At least easy. They're not doing that.
At least we're gone from the days of a guy in a teddy bear breaking into Tom Brady's house.
Well, at the moment, yes, but I mean, come on. If you were that teddy bear, would you not want to go into Tom Brady's house in that situation?
Okay, fair. I would.
Okay, thank you.
The heck are you guys even talking
Ted
about?
2. Just go
I've
watch it.
never seen Ted.
It's Tom Brady's house. Like, we got to break into it. Like, now that's how we're going to get it. Like, how else are we going to go get it except doing it at Tom Brady's
Everybody's
house?
trying to steal from Tom Brady, man.
We'll let you know during the break.
They stole his jersey. I think they stole a football of his, and they learned that it was a little bit softer than the others. I just,
And that's what Ted 2 was trying to fix.
That's in the past. That's in the past.
Trying to make it a little bit harder. And so now we're at the final play-by-play off.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from Jack State, as John just talked about. This was the play call that I spent hours, and it is no exaggeration because John Abraham was sitting beside me. I sat and watched the coaches show that they did Monday night with Rich Rod and Eli Gold.
They got the Gamecock corner. That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. Thank you. And that I also tried to find the play-by-play call from Jacksonville State on this, which, by the way, normal play-by-play guy was stuck in Colorado because of a snowstorm. Eli Gold hopped on a plane overnight just to fly down to Jack State, or I should say fly to La Tech, just so that he could do the play-by-play on this. And this was the ending that he got. Every bit of this, I spent even 3 hours after Tom's show trying to find this play-by-play call.
We can hype this up a little bit more because just Eli Gold showing up to call this game is clutch enough.
Which he does do the coach's corner with Rich Rodriguez at Jack State.
But for him to just show up and do this game, because of the whole situation that was going on with the original dude, I mean, it's so cool to me. And then getting to see what type of game he got to call against La Tech. I mean, La Tech of all teams.
Coming from behind, they were down 3 seconds to go in the game. Tyler Huff drops back, throws a Hail Mary, which everybody except for Cam Vaughn totally whiffs on. I mean, everybody was at the front of the end zone, including Jack State wide receivers.
Every single call was so surprised whenever the ball landed in his hand.
Every single one. Like, even La Tech, when it happens, they're like, well, they tied it up. Like, I can't believe they just tied it up on this play.
Yeah.
And so I could have went with the La Tech call, but I didn't, just because it was kind of funny just hearing them how depressed they got on
You
just
should
the
have went
touchdown.
with every single call, even after the touchdown into the extra point.
Right. You're right. I should have, because then the game goes into overtime and Jack State wins.
Well, why is that? Well, let's just play that. Let's play the clip.
So, yes. So that being said,
I'm like Tosh,
I was never able to find the Eli Gold call. So here's the CBS Sports call with Chris Lewis and Randy Cross on the Hail Mary pass from Tyler Huff to Cam Vaughn.
This one's good too.
4 seconds to go. You're an offensive receiver. Keep that ball alive. Last play. Hail Mary. Huff gets it off. Gets to the end zone. And it shots! Touchdown! Cam Vaughn behind the pile. Incredible!
Oh, that's good. No, it's good.
It's good.
I couldn't find the Eli Gold call anywhere.
I want to know what
I
that
could not find it.
like, though.
I genuinely could not find that call. I went to Jack State's websites. I went to all of their affiliate websites. I even watched the entire Rich Rod show, thinking that they would play the call at some point in time. Looked everywhere.
I think we got a little bit of connections with Jack State. If you guys have the call, please send.
Do you know who their point of contact is at Jack State for the Jacksonville Gamecocks radio network?
Who is?
Bill Bubba Bussey.
Really?
Yes, because it's at the bottom of the screen.
Triple B.
You know what to do, Bill. Come on, 97.7.
I mean, the amount of effort that I put into this yesterday was infuriating to try to find this call, because I'm like, it's Eli doing this call on a last second plane ride to La Tech so that he could do this game. You've got to be sending this thing out everywhere. Nowhere. Jack State's entire X feed was nothing but the CBS call. Nowhere to be found.
All right. So
nowhere to be found.
Now that we have all the calls, and by the way, I will say that call was impressive, but it was the game itself that was even more impressive, because Jack State then misses the extra point to take them to overtime after they could have just won the game. They ended up winning the game anyway. It was wonderful. You guys should have watched it. But now that we look down through all of these different calls that you threw at us, Bandy, I'll let you go first. Which was the one that impressed you the most?
You know what?
Kansas City, Chiefs,
Georgia Tech.
Chiefs.
I knew he would say that.
call.
Like, I just knew that.
Good call.
I knew he would say Georgia Tech.
I mean, there's just so much passion
The sack,
behind it.
the fumble, the recovery.
Better
it's
than,
all there.
Better than we're flying home on the wings of Jake Bates.
See,
It's tough.
both of them are going to be on a T-shirt one day. That's the thing.
Flying
all
home
right.
on the wings of Jake.
He did. That's what he said.
That's the amazing part about all of that. They're both going to be on a T-shirt. All right. Which one would I rather buy? I'm going with Jake Bates.
Great. Now we have a tie.
Oh yeah, baby. That's why you're
Again?
supposed to break the tie.
Again?
You're supposed to break the tie, Joe.
See,
I
and
stood up for a reason. I'm not gonna pick the Georgia Tech call just because Bandy picks the Georgia Tech call. There's three of us for a reason.
I know there's three of us for a reason. And you know what? I wanted to go with the Jack State call, but I couldn't find it or hear it.
Please don't go with the Kansas.
I'm not going with the Kansas City one just because the Mitch Holtis and not being able to say Kansas City properly was actually more annoying than it was exciting. So I'm not going to be going with that one as well.
Well, here's the thing. I'll give you some more time.
Okay, hold on. Can I listen to both of them again?
You can listen.
Let's listen to both of them
Yeah.
again. Okay, here's Georgia Tech's play call. Georgia Tech recovering the fumble from Miami at the very end of the game to beat the Hurricanes.
Here's the snap. Tech only rushes 3. Dancing around in the pocket, escaping out to his right, still backpedaling, giving ground. He is sacked. Ball is out. Rolling free. Jackets have it. Jackets have it. The sack, the fumble, and the recovery by Vandenberg. And Bobby Dodd Stadium has erupted.
Okay, so that's that call.
It sounded like an acted 3 parts. Just the sack, the fumble, the recovery.
And then maybe the climax. We had the outcome, and then you know what? The Hurricanes lost.
Okay.
Yeah, the hero's resolution.
And then here's the game winner from Jake Bates, called by Dan Miller of the Lions Radio Network.
From 52 yards out to send the Lions home with a victory. There's the snap, spot, kick away. It is up, and it is good. He got it. We're going to fly home on the wings of Jake Bates. Oh, baby. Good from 58. Good from 52. And that's good enough for a victory for the Detroit Lions.
I mean, they both have the start, the anticipation, the climax, and then it all comes to a resolution. We have heroes, we have enemies, and we've got wins.
All right,
here we go.
My vote.
Here we go.
Here's the snap. Tech only rushes 3. Dancing around in the pocket, escaping out to his right, still backpedaling, giving ground. He is sacked. Yes. Ball is out. Rolling free. Jackets have it. Jackets have it. The sack, the fumble, and the recovery by Vandenberg. And Bobby Dodd Stadium has erupted.
This is what we wanted, all right? We wanted the competitive calls, and that's exactly what we got. And I think that is a great idea for what we do in the future, Joe.
Yes.
Is I know that you probably have a favorite on top of it, but me and Bandy, we might, come and say different calls.
Yeah.
And that's what leads up to you to talk about which call is going to be better. And you're going to have between 2 calls, you're going to have to pick one.
And I think that part of what I like about it is that with Dan Miller, obviously it was a huge moment. It was a massive comeback. The call about, flying on the home of the wings of Jake Bates, like all that is tremendous. But it was the pure joy. Yeah. And it's Andy Demetra who is doing the play call for Georgia Tech. But the pure joy that he has in the fact of, we had just upset Miami, and we have, out of not only doing that, we upset Florida State earlier in the year. And it is one of these, this is one of the greatest moments. And the fact that that I'm putting the words Jake Bates against Jordan Vandenberg. Vandenberg's just an awesome name, man.
It is.
It's every bit of it. He sacked him, he stripped him, and he recovered the fumble. Yeah. And every bit of it you could see on national television, because strip doesn't mean the exact same thing. So it was awesome that. So yes, I'm going Georgia Tech is our winner for the play-by-playoffs this week.
All right.
Okay.
I think we can all live with that one and sleep tonight knowing that the Hurricanes have lost that game.
If you are one of the worst teams in the NFL, you may have a massive decision on your hands. I'll explain when we come back on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're selling real estate. With years of experience, offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Rich Eisen here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join us all season long as we get you ready for primetime NFL action every Monday night. Along with Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, and the entire Westwood One team will take you inside the locker rooms and the stadiums for exclusive previews and all the play-by-play action. Every week on Monday Night Football.
Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at JetSuperstore.com.
This is Drew DeArmond of ESPN 97.7 The Zone's Talking Ball, and I'm here with Brandon Pilcher of Pilcher's Appraisals and Home Buying. Brandon, let everybody know what you do.
Drew, I'm a residential appraiser. I can come out and appraise your property and give you a value on it. And I also buy property. So if you have something you're wanting to move on the wholesale market without listing it, I can make you an offer on it and buy it direct.
And then tell them how to get in touch with you.
706-936-3766. Call or text.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should come up sometime. See me.
Okay, almost everything.
Come up, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today. 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN, The Zone.
conversations we have mid-segment, I mean, they usually don't start until like 3 seconds before the music starts, but they're always pretty interesting.
Well, and the other thing is a lot of them are so far out there that I'm not 100% sure on who all would be on board for that.
Yeah. I'm just saying, fictional sports in television and how much we would like them if they were actually real. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I do.
All
I
right.
do. It would take a little bit more time to discuss.
Well, obviously.
But
it was
we've
just
only
an
got
idea.
5 minutes. And the reason why I say that is because I know that, not that many people actually watch Get Up. I don't. But they just had an interesting discussion that is going to play into not just the college football season, but the NFL draft that's coming up, because there is a lot of talk about Shadir Sanders and the fact that he's now saying that he could be one of the top quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft.
Who's saying that?
A lot of scouts
Okay.
are saying this in it because of the dual threat ability, the passing ability, and how much he's grown, his size, every bit of that. They're talking about him being a top 5 draft pick. So today it was kind of discussed between Adam Schefter as well as other members on Get Up about the fact that there are rumors coming out that this is almost a package deal, that if you want Shadir, then you've also got to take Prime.
Got to stop doing this.
And so the voices that you're going to hear you have Orlovsky, obviously Adam Schefter, Mike Greenberg. You also have one of the McCourty brothers. All these guys are going to be in this conversation. So that is the reason why is going to and figuring out where potentially Shadir could be drafted. And here is how that conversation took place less than an hour ago on Get Up.
Every single team in the top 10.
Dude, you're
that has a
talking
quarterback.
Schefter, you're talking the
Let's go
Jets?
through the list.
You're talking the Jets?
Could you see?
You're talking
Hold on.
Giants?
Could you see Shador and Dion with the Jets?
Heck yes.
I would, of course, I would love to see that.
Jets
Could you
have
see
the
number
with the
8
Giants.
pick?
Yeah,
The
definitely.
Las
Number
Vegas
2
Raiders.
pick.
For sure.
5.
Hey, the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, why not?
There's not
going to be a top team that's
Look
going
at
to
seven.
go to.
But here's the thing. There's going to be teams. So you're getting the Jets, the Giants, the Saints, the Raiders, the Jaguars, the Browns, the Carolina Panthers.
Jaguars.
There's going to be
Everybody.
teams but there's
Everybody.
going to be organizations out of that group that I said that Dion is going to say no.
That's fine. That's fine. The point is that this is just going to be an option that's out there. We're not saying it's happening.
Yeah.
We're saying that this is one of those options that's going to heat up, that's going to be in play this offseason. Is there a team out there that's in position to get Shadur Sanders that also wants to go and hire Deion Sanders to marry them up together moving forward? Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. It's damn fun to talk about and think about.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that.
Well, if you wanted to explode the internet, congratulations, you just did. Let's see what winds up happening there. Dion and Shador, start making your guesses now.
It's an interesting conversation. I'll
Now-
throw that at it.
My first thought is okay, if you want Dion and you want is this meaning you want to add Dion to the staff? Are you like, you see what I'm saying?
It'd have to be like a coordinator type of position, maybe a QB
Like,
coach. Like,
you're
I
not
don't-
meaning
I don't know.
Deion Sanders being a head coach because,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
Yeah.
people already talk about him in the Dallas Cowboys. But like my first thought is why, if this man can do this good coaching 85 players, just think about how good he could be if he just had to focus on 12, like a position coach.
I'm going to be honest with you. Some fan bases would probably all for, even if it's just a shakeup in the system, all for a Deion Sanders and a Shador Sanders type of connection on their team.
Well, and that's where, like, I'm looking now and I start thinking about, obviously I stereotype Prime, even though he's a head coach, I still go, what if he was just giving the secondary? Like, let this man just coach the secondary or defense. One of
Yeah.
those to be a defensive coordinator and also be a secondary coach.
Isolate him a little bit and he could find a little bit more success, even though he's already having some success right now in the Big 12 with this Colorado
Well,
team.
and I say that because I'm looking at the teams that have the worst pass defenses in the NFL right now. And a lot of those teams are in the top 10 when it comes to the draft. The Jaguars have the worst pass defense right now. They're right now at the moment, they have the number 1 overall pick, depending obviously with what's happening throughout the rest of the season. The Bucks are there, but they're not going to make any change because obviously they are really good when they have their offense.
Yeah.
Panthers are third worst. The Saints are 5th worst, and then the Cowboys are 7th worst.
Surprising.
All of which, especially the Saints, are looking for a head coach right now. And maybe the Dallas Cowboys would consider this as well, depending on where. Because right now, Dallas has the number 11 overall pick, and they're on a 4-game losing streak. So I think it's asinine to think the man's would go to the NFL and actually be a head coach right now. But I think that he's proven himself as a coach, period. Because a lot of reasons why a lot of the Power Fives didn't want him is because they didn't think that he could actually coach.
Exactly. And
now
we're seeing him enter into a bowl game, all of this stuff that we're seeing, the success with not just Shador and Travis Hunter, but he's spreading it out to more of his players. I mean, he's starting to actually feel like a top college football coach in the world that we're in now. Could I see him instantly make that jump to the NFL as soon as Shador Sanders goes? Probably not. But could I see him keeping an eye on his son for a few years and then maybe hopping on board whenever his other kids are off out of college? That's a little bit you can actually think about moving forward.
Or think about if Shadir goes to Jacksonville, there's Florida's not firing their quarterback, nor are their coach, nor is Florida State. But think about just throwing options. Just throwing options out there. By the way, wacky underdog picks coming up tomorrow. York already has his in. He's taking Tennessee against Georgia with that 10.5.
Are we all going to have Tennessee?
Maybe. Most
Probably.
likely.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings